listening. I'm not rushing myself. I'm taking my time. Okay.
You like Trump and
I'm taking my time, man.
This is the first time we've seen you guys since.
The whole.
You saw us last week, eh?
No, she was in it.
Well,
She was in it. We were here Thursday.
Monday, but then the election was Tuesday. So
Let's have a discussion on that now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Boy, I thought I saw you Thursday. Yeah.
You can put him mic too.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know you could drag you in.
Okay.
You recovered yet?
Well, no, and I'm not intend to recover.
This is the
So
first
there.
time I saw y'all two really
I don't
Get
intend
it.
to recover.
so passionate.
No, we always like that.
Y'all, I mean, yeah, like that.
Yeah. Listen.
Mate,
No, I'll
I'm
tell
so
you.
glad that he didn't know
I'll
me.
tell you the difference. No, I'll tell you the difference. There's no problem with the passionate differences of opinion. So, having said that,
Excuse me. You trying to say that?
no, I'm not trying to say anything. I just said what I said.
No, but that's what you've implied.
I just said something. You know what I'm saying?
So you try
If
to-
The Rock, when it's called
No,
about The
that-
Rock and all that, I don't
Didn't even
know.
shade. You just hit me. You took up the rock and hit me.
Yeah. Anyway, hi.
Watch.
How you doing, bun? No, I want none of your peanut. Eat your peanut.
You get me for a trip?
No, I saw you putting
in
the
my
peanut
mouth?
in your throat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In your throat.
Yeah, that's what she did. She threw it in the throat. She just swallowed the peanut. She don't even chew the peanut. You're a peanut. Like how you have anteater. She's a peanut eater. Just
That's
suck
a
it in.
lie.
Yeah. Very nice bun. I might
My
add.
bun's so messy and I don't care. I don't care.
Hi, everyone. To your question, I am in a media blackout, which is good. It's a good place to be. I had actually taken one post Obama as well because that threw me, in the Obama election stuff.
That's when you're touching stuff.
Let the man do that.
Listen.
Okay? Because you can't figure it out.
You just make me more mad.
Because she there like, well, how you do that?
Let's girl.
Yeah.
So no, I'm just in a media blackout, and I'm going to do the right thing by allowing the person. First of all, this is my vow, and I can stick with these vows. When I had a situation with the Miami Dolphins and Don Shula pissed me off, I never said his name for years, like 6-7 years. I'm not saying that woman's name forever.
Oh boy.
Okay, and I just don't take to her. And the other gentleman, I'm not going to really acknowledge that he exists right now either, unless when he makes errors, then I'll harp on that. I'll focus on that, the errors. I'm deep. Listen, I'm distraught,
Yeah.
and I think all of us in this room, and we'll go to your topic right now. People have to understand something. This is very important for people to understand. I am not talking about the voters. Voters have a right to vote whoever they want. That's their thing. We have nothing to say to them. My problem is that if I were an ant, okay, and an anteater went into the White House, I would be concerned. Do you understand the point I'm making?
Yes.
The anteaters wouldn't be concerned.
No.
But the ants would be concerned. That's all I'm saying.
But you don't think, the more after the, post-election stuff, I had conversations and you're thinking about, you don't think maybe he's just, fooled everybody?
Well, that's even worse. Because
No,
that's.
in terms of he did what he said and
But
he,
the problem is with that. The problem is with
just
that,
to get
right?
elected.
The problem is with that is, do you know how many people believed him? See, the
Yes.
problem is then they're going
You
to feel
mean-
like the ants.
Right. You mean the people who
Voted for him.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, yes.
They will feel disenfranchised.
Yeah.
So you mean that? So really, you was with Rogan, and you tell me you was with me?
Yeah.
Well, how does
because
that
now
make?
Yeah, but you know what? One thing with what Trump has done, he has opened up the wound. He's opened up the wound, and maybe this is a time for true healing.
Let me tell you something. Let
Let
me tell you something.
But
Let
no,
me tell you
he took the
something.
Band-Aid off, man.
People just aware
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Very
Let me tell
much
you
so.
something
Just
to
aware,
Rogan's
and we
point
feel
when you were not
empowered.
here on Monday, right?
Yeah.
You know what he is going through now? He isn't going through like he fooled no one.
No, he's like, oh,
You know, he going is like, what the hell happened here?
I
And
can't
just
curse
your hand
on
on
you.
your mouth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what guy? Because I didn't know the terror. ICE?
I have to do all this.
ISIL? It's ISIL? It's on ISIS? Oh, I didn't know about it. I know more about the generals about ISIS. I don't know about ISIL.
ISIL.
That's
He,
Obama chose
he
to
has
call it
no,
ISIL.
no, that's the actual name. But here's the deal.
Obama did
Here's the
that
deal. Here's
for
the
this
deal.
very specific reason.
Here's the deal. The deal is he is all of a sudden becoming extremely
Like,
aware.
oh, yeah.
I saw something on Facebook. I don't know what to believe on Facebook, but it said he Googled on Obamacare for the first time.
Well, you
I don't
see,
believe that. I don't believe that.
I can believe it.
No, I don't.
He
believe
said
that.
he'd never met Obama before.
Yeah, but that's one thing. But I'm sure he knows fully.
I
well
think
what
there are a lot of
Obamacare is
people who
about.
are opposed to that without even reading one iota of it.
right?
No.
But didn't
Well,
he
it's a
say that
long-
he was
it's a
going
long document.
he wasn't going to repeal it anymore? That he would revise
Well,
it?
she'll tell you why that's the case.
What?
No,
well,
you tell us.
I know we're getting into like probably old. Y'all
No,
probably
you-
already
you-
discussed
you
this.
tell her
Like,
why with your reenactment.
what happened?
Because and stupid me right along.
you gotta
with
go
it,
and
doing it.
tell Vernell
Oh, I.
that hey, you know you ain't got no insurance for daddy.
I can't. I am unable to can right now.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
But you say daddy again.
Daddy.
What?
Daddy. Hey Vernell. Come on here, boy.
Oh goodness.
You ain't
you
got
gotta
no
say it.
insurance for daddy. Okay? I know you got the gout, but we ain't cover that no more.
Prostate.
And the prostrate straight?
Prostate.
Prostrate. Excuse me, can I do my own thing? Oh, Lord. Anyway, see, there's some realities he's in face now. You see?
Yes.
There's some realities.
Y'all
See, it's
been
like when
seeing
you,
all-
if you believe, like, all right, so let's say you pick you like Denzel Washington. Let me just try that out there. I don't know. I mean, I'm being old school, but let's say you like Denzel. So you decide, boy, if I could get in the sack with Denzel, that'll be something, boy. But then all of a sudden, when you get in the sack with Denzel, you can't get it together, man. You can't get it together. You fumbling.
Right. He'd be like, I get
You know what I'm
it.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
I think that applies more to a male than a female. But anyway, I don't think women have to worry so much about fumbling.
What
know?
were you fighting
Or you're
for?
fumbling if you ain't pocket locking.
Okay.
Oh, dear.
Ooh.
A lacking. Okay, so Vernell, know about that?
Daddy?
Hey, Vernell, you ain't getting no show for Diddy.
Show you on the break.
Okay.
About the
So listen, we got to talk to Candy because
Yes,
we got an
quickly,
action
because
pack.
y'all trying to get me
Yeah,
in and out.
yeah, we got an action pack fun. We got Renard Henfield on. We're
That
going to
should
talk
be
about the
exciting.
march, and we have Davina
Davinia Blair,
Davinia Blair
Vice President of Institutional
from UB.
and Alumni
UB?
Affairs. Yeah, University of Bahamas.
Renell go there.
I don't think so.
All right.
He goes to COB.
Okay.
He goes to COB.
No, I think Renell go to beat the VI.
Hey.
Anyway,
Yes.
we're being
Yes, we're being,
stereotyped. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay, tell us what's going down.
Well,
What
you're,
happened to the music?
There's some music.
There's
Oh yeah,
music?
no, it's no
we-
right about that. We
that's
go ahead
okay.
right in.
That's okay.
Trump,
I wore the
since
shirt.
Trump take over,
You
we
want to
can.
see the shirt?
What does the shirt say?
Will
That's
work
ingenious.
for candy.
What are you, an evil witch? Come on, let's go.
So yes, I picked a
That's cute.
Ed's favorite topic. He always, he likes to talk about gender roles, right?
Out the barrel. Yeah, go ahead.
Because we talk about them all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, the more you talk about it, the more you just, it's like water, you beat, the water will always find a way. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
Trying to find a way.
Trying to find a way. I'm trying to eradicate these, different beliefs and stuff. But anyway,
By the way,
So-
it's eradicate.
eradicate.
No,
What did I say?
You
eradicate.
said eradicate.
No, I said
I
it.
want you to say eradicate.
It's eradicate.
Oh,
because you're
I was
from
like, don't
Georgia.
confuse me now.
Yeah.
Georgia.
Georgia.
Yeah.
So what was the topic that I was talking
Roles.
about? Well, not roles, but the term breadwinner.
Mm-hmm.
I think we need to get rid of this term. And, the definition of breadwinner is, one person who, makes more financially and contributes, a little bit more to the family, takes care of the, the
Finances.
wife, the finances. And it's mostly financially,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So in a world now where we live in both wife and husband are we making money? Like we both are making money. Some women make more money than than their
men.
husband. But what my whole point is, why is it that the breadwinner, whoever makes more financially, that's all that they do? That they don't, I guess, contribute more towards the home in terms of the child rearing, and just other household jobs, chores.
Well, I think it comes from an historical sense that when in the world of breadwinning, that was actual.
Yes,
Right? When
that's why
I actually
Wonder
went
Bread.
out into the jungle for like 5 days, walking. There was no trance. I killed the lion who almost killed me. See the scar on my face? And when I reached back toting the lion, I really ain't got time to clean the dishes. I tired. So throw that lion over there, or whichever they bring the gazelle, and cook that because I tired. So I think that comes from the roles where there was two people doing physically demanding chores. You did some, I did some. I mean, I think that's where it
So
came
that's
from.
the origins of it.
That's the origins.
But nobody's doing that. Well,
Well,
there are some
yeah, of
people
course
doing
there
it.
are.
But in this modern
in
society, in the
yeah.
Western
Well,
culture,
I think in this modern society,
it's much different.
Orknell, who working on the roof in the sun, roofing. You know what a
that
roofing
mean?
is?
Yes.
How you mean what that
Rough
mean?
it. No, I mean, where you going with the?
Be roofing, it's hard.
Yeah, rough it,
It's
roofing.
working
On the
hard,
roof.
man. When
On
you
the
be
roof.
show 'em in the hard sun, working, slinging hammer,
If it's a case, if it's
construction.
A case, if
What
it's
does
a
that
case
mean, though?
where
I mean, what does it mean?
Yeah, I mean,
Physical labor,
yes, but what is okay?
tired.
What
he's saying that. So
What
you're
was your
tired.
point? Yeah.
No,
point
the point
is
is you're saying that you want him to now say, I assume, that when he comes home, or should I say him,
Yeah.
that if you've been working, just say, in an office all day, in some, as we say in the Bahamas, air can do. Okay? That his physical labor, and again, I'm just putting this forward, acquaints to your scenario because you were out working too. I would submit
Yes.
that there are
Mental
different
labor.
levels of what I'm going to say, that I think there's different levels of physical output
But okay,
in terms of labor.
so the different levels of physical outlet output means that okay, you get a pass. You don't have to deal with the children when you get home.
I tired.
Oh, you
Can
tired.
he not hire help?
No. Hold
Well,
on.
I think if
Yeah,
you're
I mean,
slinging,
because if you're the breadwinner and you're working this ridiculously tough
Well, that's what
job
people do.
and you can't physically do it for the kids, why not just like he's always said it a million times? What's wrong with him hiring help to help you out? That's
Well,
what his
I'm
money
sure
can
that's
do.
what people do.
well, it is what
his
people
money
do.
Well, that's what
Yeah.
people do to keep the peace.
Right, and so there's no issue with that then.
What's that?
There's no issue with
But
that then.
I mean, okay, so all right.
No, as
Suppose
parents,
I have a physically demanding job.
yes.
I'm say I don't know. I don't know. I'm a doctor and I perform surgeries, 10 hours at a time, and I'm physically.
you will
and
have, in that
mentally-
case, you will have some help. I assure
I'm
you,
just
doing
saying,
surgeries.
Is it okay then now? Oh well, I'm not dealing with the children. I have that option.
yes.
You
Absolutely.
think so?
Of course.
And I would not judge.
Yeah.
I would turn up my nose at somebody who would judge
Exactly.
that
And you
scenario.
think the man will be able to deal with that?
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course.
But listen, put it this
I
way.
mean, he works too, mind you.
Listen,
He's
this
not,
is what I
he-
think.
He's not a house husband.
No,
he
Yeah,
I-
works.
he
but
works.
his job's not as physically demanding
But-
as hers.
but-
It may be. I don't
It
know.
may be, but
Then you
here's
get
here's
help.
what I'm saying. If you have the resources to get help, but at the end of the day, when it comes to things like, and this is where I think it really counts, when it comes to things like going to kids' PTA meetings, that obviously, that type of thing, right? When it goes to, and just out of interest, I'm just going to digress a little bit because this role thing can really get dangerous, right? But the same guy in this environment who does the physical labor, maybe I'm just saying, maybe he's also doing the lawn. He's doing home stuff. It's not just zero stuff. It isn't like he come home and say, "Listen, the lawn need to get cut." So the tire, when the tire change time to change the tire, physical stuff. And I don't want to sound sexist, but physical stuff. He's doing stuff at home.
Right.
So if he
but, like,
maybe
don't-
doesn't feel like ironing the clothes, maybe that's how he feels.
Don't make it about physical stuff, though.
But it is about physical.
Say I'm married. My husband has an office job. I have an office job. He may make I don't know, a
The
couple
same
more,
as you. Let's say they make
not
the
even
same.
the same, just maybe 10 grand more than me.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, only have to
We-
get 10 grand way to rest then.
what's that?
Used to get 10
Hush.
grand way to rest.
We work the same amount of hours,
Uh-huh.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Then what? There's no physical output. He's not working physically any
No,
harder
but like I say,
than
he
I
may.
am.
But I'm saying he
and
may
we're
also
getting
be.
home
The,
at the same time.
but
so
I'm
then
saying
what?
he may also be the guy who is also doing the lawn. He may also do things with the cars. He may do things with. I'm just saying, this is not a discussion of someone who, because they're making 10,000 more, does nothing. That no one accepts that as rational. It's a matter of. So you know what a good example would be is to weigh the thing between the physical output of dealing with the child, for instance, versus mowing the lawn.
Right.
Okay.
Which-
Now, if the expectation was that you're supposed to mow the lawn and take care of the children, we got a little problem, Houston,
Okay.
because
but
that's silly. It's
But the woman still has to do other stuff and take care of the children in the house.
yeah,
the
but
man's doing
I
other
think he has to
stuff
take
as
care of the
well.
children. I listen. I think guys should be taking. I think guys should be assisting and
And
if
not
that's what.
babysitting their children.
What's that? What do you
That's
mean?
what you know how people say. You never heard men say that, or I home here
Yeah, I
babysitting.
think. Yeah, but no, I think that the world is
Some men
advanced.
do.
Yeah,
No, men cannot babysit, but that lends to the mentality that
What do
I'm
you mean
here,
that
I'm just
by
here
men cannot babysit? What do you mean by that?
because that's their child.
Okay.
Yeah, they
just making
parent.
sure.
They don't babysit.
well, so women can't babysit either.
no, women don't ever babysit. We
Okay.
take care of the
But
children.
the point I'm making is that I think we have reached a point in our history where it is unreasonable to think that there shouldn't be an equal contribution in terms of raising the child,
An egalitarian
period,
marriage.
and not measuring, not this whole, well, you did it Tuesday, so I got to do, not this measuring thing, but they should play a role in rearing their
The
child.
measurement only comes about when somebody isn't pulling their weight.
Yeah, and obviously to the extent that you have to sit down and discuss that, right?
right. And then zero.
We're gonna take a break. We'll take a little break. We're gonna do, and then we have
Take a
to,
break?
yeah, and then we have to do a quick thing with Candy, and then we'll bring in our guests. Our guests here? Okay.
Brought to you by Alternative Dispute Resolution Bahamas, Bristol Wines and Spirits, Wendy's, Coca-Cola.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Ed Fields here, along with Candelaria Thompson, and Rogan Smith, and Osprey. Anyway, we're talking about roles. We want to wind up because we have a packed
Breadwinning.
show tonight. But I think also, just to pack it up, I think we do get carried away with names. I mean,
Right.
these are, historically.
Let's do away with it.
But you're not going to do away with it. You can say that, but guess what? Someone's going to say it.
Breadwinning is just-
Out of Mongolia, they're going to continue to say it. So that's the way it is. So that's someone turning a light in
Oh,
there.
just lit up.
So yeah, so what I would suggest, because we do have a packed show, and I
Yes,
hate
and
to
you're
run,
trying to
is
run
can
me.
we? No, I'm not trying. I'm
Yes.
actually doing it.
To be continued.
Yeah, to be continued.
Yes, we
okay?
will continue this.
Talk about roles. Get maybe some people to throw some questions at us about that.
Yes.
So when you come back on Monday.
Throw them
And-
at Ty
and-
Goat on Facebook.
Yeah, who do we have on Thursday? Oh, we have Cable. Nuco.
Ooh.
So we have that. So
New kid on the block.
Sydney.
no, we've
Okay.
rearranged that.
All right.
So anyway, so we're planning our show on the radio.
Yes,
So
I see.
that's how we go. We're natural. Be natural.
Because I love it.
Yeah. Well, like I was on Wendell Jones' show the other day, and he was trying to indicate to me to fix my collar. I said, "What are you doing? What are you, on the
Right.
TV? What are you pointing at?" I said, "You mean fix my collar? Okay, fix my collar. Okay." We threw the whole TV
Because
system
certain
off.
things you just don't say and do
Oh
on
no!
the radio
Oh
or
no!
on TV.
Because there are people watching you, seeing that the collar is worse, so
Right.
they're happy that you're going. The one I hate is the little spit thing in the corner of the mouth. I
Yeah.
wish someone would say
Cotton mouth?
something
The
about
white
that.
balls?
No, and they have that
Yeah.
little thing.
That's so
sometimes it's
nasty.
like
How could you
white.
not feel it?
Hey, I don't know.
Maybe
Maybe it dry up.
Wet.
That's so gross.
Well,
Anyway,
thank you, Ed.
all right.
Rogan.
Pleasure.
Osprey.
Run a little music. We're gonna get the guys in. Yeah. Thank you. Bye. Action-packed fun. We're here today. We just had Candy. Today we got also have Renard Henfield and John Boswick. Renard is doing the Blackout Friday march on the 25th. And so, we're here. We're going to do 5 minutes before the news, and then we'll do another 15 minutes after the break. So, what better place to start than just tell us about what is, and I want to, let me couch it in this, we just had the election in the States, and obviously people are marching and people are in uproar about various things. But, one of the things I had a discussion with you about was that, we often march against stuff. We're always protesting stuff. And, the people who I guess you're protesting either listen or not, but very infrequently do people march for something. Right. And when you look at people like Martin Luther King and some of the more successful marches, they were marching for equal rights, and that was their objective. So, in that light, I'd ask you, what's the objective of the march on the 25th?
Well, one of the things I wanted to break down, and first of all, good afternoon. Thank you so much for having me. Fellow Our Ladies schoolmate there.
All y'all been to like plenty schools. Everyone been to school together.
Candy was saying.
Sock with Candy, right?
Jeez.
But
have y'all graduated yet?
Oh man, listen. Good afternoon, Bahamas. It's a pleasure to be on Edfield's Live once again. As far as the Black Friday March, one of the things we do agree on, Ed, and thanks so much in the days leading up to where we are so far and with the guidance and suggestions. One of the things that we've all agreed on is we're going to march for something. We don't want to go there to protest and just be reactive. We want to go there and say this is the way forward and this is the people's agenda. This is what is in the best interest of the people. So in a breakdown, what I've tried to explain to persons is the why we're marching. We're marching because we as a people are overtaxed. We're marching because there are over 52,000 Bahamians unemployed. So we're marching for ownership of this country. We're marching for jobs. We're marching for a better economy. We're marching to put forth before Parliament our suggestions, our draft legislation on what we want to see. We want a Crown land reform. So we're going to say to the administration, it's November 25th. We're giving you until January 10th, Majority Rule Day, to put forth legislation for a Crown land reform, for immigration reform, for educational reform. And if you don't, in the meantime, we will be drafting our own legislation. So when we come back here on January 10th, we're coming here to say, here's what we have to propose, and you're going to go into Parliament and you're going to debate this. Since you don't want to take us serious enough to draft something, we're going to draft it ourselves in the lead up to that. But we're marching for, and when persons ask who's behind it, I had to clarify on numerous occasions, this is non-political. There's no political party involvement here whatsoever. And one of the things I've been asked to clarify in the weeks leading up to this point is that we don't want to be against any organization. We want to be against anybody. So regardless of the political party, regardless if you're a part of a union, regardless of what type of business you own, this is an opportunity for all of us to come together as a people and say we are dissatisfied with the course this country is on. But we're not going to stop on just being dissatisfied. This is our proposals. This is what we want to see happen. So for the business community, we definitely want to take this opportunity again to reach out to the businesses and say, we need your support. We are not anti-businesses. We are not anti-PLP, F&M, DNA, or UTP, because all of these persons are Bahamians. And all of us, whether you're PLP, F&M, or DNA, we have issues that we want to see addressed in this country.
What kind of feedback have you gotten from folks about this upcoming march? They seem into it or...
It is.
Because we have a lot
it's
of marches
insane.
in this country.
Oh no, it's insane. You have people who are actually publicly saying, "I have never even considered marching before, but I will be there." I stood in the hallway just now. Somebody walks and said, "Oh my God, I'll be there at Black Friday." I stopped at the barbershop on my way here, and as I walk in the door,
John already dressed for it.
Yeah, John already in black. Cute John.
It's an interesting thing because it seems to me, if there's one thing that I continually harp on, it seems to me that what our problem is, and I don't want to sound like it, well, it is a problem, is that we have not been engaged.
Yeah.
Okay.
They've ignored us.
And the reality is, and we got a minute. The reality is, no one forces us not to be engaged, right? Okay. Either you just become complacent, or you just life is so good that you just kind of like chill out and let things ride. Okay. So, but there comes a time when you've got to become engaged. Otherwise, you're just sitting around letting the world pass you. So I would seem, John, that this is a time where the real highlight of the march to me is showing those that are in the seats of power, hey, don't think that people are not engaged. Without saying a single word, because I understand it's a silent march, without saying a single word, see, we're engaged. We're here. As opposed to when 20 people show up and they can laugh you off and say, well, you see, ain't nothing happening.
One of the, and again, hello Bahamas, and it's a beautiful pleasure for me to be sitting here with you in the studio and sitting next to Renard. There's a couple of years between all of us, and
Notice he ain't say no woman.
Yeah, you better. Yeah.
Forgive me.
Chop him.
Just the two of you.
Chop him.
You're welcome back.
Automatically corrected. I know that we're about to go to the break, but I think Ed, you said a lot, and Renard has summarized it so incredibly beautiful. It's about what we are marching for, not so much what we're marching against. And we have a whole bunch of one-liners that define and detail what we're marching for. And ultimately, we're marching for our country, for our Bahamas, for our future, for our children. And it's about time that we move together. About time we live up to this national motto: forward, onward, upward, together.
We're gonna take a news break. We'll be right back. That's a good way to end on here now. Ed Fields here, along with Osprey on our board, and Rogan has stepped up for a second. But our guests this afternoon are Renard Henfield of R. Carmichael and John Bostwick, and activists. And we left talking about, John, you left closing off about we should really be following our motto, which is, and I always mess it up, so I know it, and onward together. Upward together. And the reality is, the trueness of that is that essentially we've been going divided, apart together, or apart. We have split ourselves to the benefit of the oligarchy, so to speak, because they, and I once spoke to someone when we were talking about constitutional reform, and I said to them the same thing about the party system, and the response to me was, and the person, but the people are happy with the system. No, you're happy with the system.
It works for you. As you say, forward, onward, upward, together. That is what this country was supposed to be built on, and it was also built on march on Bahama land.
March on Bahama
so
land.
The concept of unity, and I stand, one of the maxims I live on is unity is strength, and divided we are conquered. And as a divided people, we are a conquered people. So the special interests and those other groups who can gather themselves, the little caucuses, they get things done here in the Bahamas. So, but we as Bahamians, who are all over the place and divided by the most foolish things, tribalism, petty partisan politics, is something that I have written to. This is beyond. This march goes beyond even the concept of a so-called public-private partnership. This is a oneness. This is a call to all Bahamians, from the unions to the employers. Okay, it is beyond race, it is beyond creed, it is beyond a church definition, because there are issues, Ed, that we suffer in the Bahamas that we've all been speaking to that are national. It is not. It's not even a male and female thing. These are national issues that we all have to stand up for. And one of them, looking at this lady who I have to make all apologies for, is we got to get back to things like the gender inequality. It happened. And it needs to come back, and the people need to raise up. The women, half the population, have the opportunity to march and say, you know what, our issues weren't dealt with. We want them dealt with.
But John, also too, that often we when we do these things, we assume that everyone. See, there's a confusion between unified as a people to take. I don't want to use the words like control, but we are the people. We are the government. We are the democracy. But that doesn't mean that every single thing that's on that list I agree with.
Right. Fair enough.
That it's not possible. But it's, what it is? It's how do we go about the process of dealing with those things that may be in conflict with each other. The reality is, on that list may be 10 things that I approve or I feel comfortable with, and there may be 2 or 3 I don't. Right. But that's how you live. You live in how do we then resolve those issues.
Yes, sir.
The one thing, sorry, go ahead, Rogan.
No, I just want, this is off topic, but Bernard, this march hasn't been without its controversy regarding some threats that were made against you. So I wanted you to address that. What actually happened in that case with the officer?
Well, I think for me, apparently my phones have been tapped, because I would have mentioned to someone at 9:41 that morning that I'm passing the Hilton and I'm heading to cabinet. So I guess there was a scurry as to why I'm heading to cabinet. And 4 minutes later, I jumped out of my car there, Parliament Street. SUV is behind me, and they jumped out. Mr. Henfield, 1 second. Need to see you.
When was this?
This would have been Monday.
Okay.
Monday. So a week ago. So we need to see you. I had no idea who the gentleman was, and he identified himself, said his name, and the department, SIB. Never known what SIB was before, never experienced, never encountered them, and basically said, where are you heading? And I said, well, I'm heading to cabinet. And he said, well, we need to see the letter. I never mentioned the letter. We only asked me, hey, Mr. Henfield, where are you headed? And so I realized at that point, that my phone is tapped. And I basically said, well, I can't give you the letter that I have here because it's already sealed. I'm heading to cabinet if you want to get you a copy. So they said, well, and I found the officer to be rather professional. He introduced the other officer in the vehicle. It was 3 of them. Another one came out, introduced himself, and basically said, well, we're SIB. We're supposed to be looking into this march that you have planned. We need to know the route, who's involved, why you're doing it, etc. And I gave him as much as I could, and he kept asking if there's anybody else involved. And I said, just me. If there's anybody to be locked up, it's only me. It's just me. And then the following day is when I received the call at the office, basically telling me that I cannot go home.
A call from home.
Another officer. Who identified themselves and said, I better not go home, specifically the night before the march, because the march cannot happen. The march cannot happen. And obviously the police isn't against the march. The police isn't against us standing up for people. But I think, whoever would have put these persons to reach out to me, maybe the plan was to intimidate me and scare me off to, cancel the march. So I went home, I spoke with my wife about it, and she looked at our 3-year-old child, and she's pregnant. She said, no, we have to do this. If not, what's going to happen to them? What are they going to do if you're going to go through this now? I mean, I didn't need any more encouragement. So, I mean, everything goes ahead. I don't believe for 1 second that the police department is against us. Before coming here and going to the barbershop, I stopped at Nassau Street Court. And as I was getting in the car, the officers shout out, the group of officers, the 23rd, right? We got you. You safe. The 23rd. I said, no, it's the 25th. Get me on the 25th. Keep me safe on the 25th. And I mean, I don't get the impression 1 second that there's anything to fear. I think the plan was simply to see that I would be scared off from organizing and bringing the people together. But like John said, we have power in our unity. And I think that's one of the reasons why our Carmichael works so well, because we've put aside our political differences, our social differences, our religious views, and we've come on one page saying that we all want to contribute something to the development of this community, and we're doing that with Carmichael.
And you say this is apolitical, so you don't. But you don't care if.
I don't care if PLP,
as long as they don't show any shirts.
Bahamian. All we ask, again, like Ez just said, is that come out in black. In unity. We don't want anyone pushing a PLP, FNM, DNA agenda. It's not about us as Bahamians all saying we don't like the course this country is headed, and we have suggestions on the way it should head. And we want to be together. We don't want to work in division like politics has divided us. We want to be together as one people, forward, upward, onward, together.
Nicolette Bethel, I keep on having to refer to her. And we got about 5 more minutes. Nicolette Bethel was on our show, and again, it's the most interesting. People take angles, especially smart people, that you don't think about. And her thing was, we need more government, right? And I saw John just cock his head there. And the reason it is because the government is just one tiny centralized group of people, as opposed to down to local government. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We have no government in the community. We have no government on the island. We have no government in a region. It is all just a centralized scenario. So that is where she had that very interesting
and we agree with
assertion.
We agree. I mean, that's one of the calls. And in fact, so Nicolette
decentralized government
march with us. One of the biggest calls that I've had in that Renard has is for decentralization. And in fact, as he mentioned, you see, one of the things, I've been following Renard for quite some time with Arthur Michael. It's a wonderful thing that has happened there and what he is doing there. And what he's doing is saying, we're not waiting for central government. That is fundamentally what is under that. We are not waiting for central government.
We don't need you to do this.
We are going to empower ourselves through collective effort. And that is in itself a quasi local government.
And the only thing missing is funding.
Exactly.
That's it.
Okay, so this call for local governance, city governance. I live in the city of Nassau. You see your property. We don't need to go there. We don't need to go there. But I know, as you with the Downtown Development Association, you know that local governance, city governance would make an entire difference to the Port of New Providence. Okay, a mayor. All right, and I support local governance, and again, one of the many things that we are marching for, decentralization and the expansion of
it is
local
one of
government.
the things that this particular march that I hold especially important because, and I like to take the words "I" out of this and I will, because I think our problem, our issue, is that we need to be engaged in the process. We have decided to cede that off to people and then expect that they would have our best interests at heart. If I cede my governance off to Rogan, and I just sit back, I can't expect that she's reading my mind and is going to create an agenda that is my best interest. She's going to create her agenda. What I think you gentlemen are doing, and what I think everyone is doing, is saying, look, hey, your role is to implement our agenda.
That's right.
Exactly.
Okay, that's all it is. It's as simple as that.
They've inverted Westminster, and it's been done a long time ago.
it's perfectly
And if you look at the way the political leaders even address you as a candidate, they'll tell you, look, it's all about the party. It's all about the party. You have no opinion. You are not here to promote your own ideas. You are here to promote the party. And so Bahamians are being, for years, they vote for party, not for individuals.
John?
And individuals present the party position, not the people's position.
I want you and Renard and all those who are listening to take this moment to hear one thing. If there's one thing that I will say in my age to you young folks, the United States election and what is going on in this country has demonstrated clearly to me, I feel like there's a revelation that we do not have a democracy. Somehow we have been fooled, both in the United States and here, to believe that there's actually a democracy. What we have is a system that has made us believe there's a democracy by saying go out and vote once every 5 years, and that's democratic. You don't choose who you're voting for. You don't choose you choose nothing. You just are giving a choice.
It's a buffet.
It's a buffet.
You're not in a
no,
restaurant.
actually, it's not a buffet. It's a very narrow a la carte menu. You got these two choices. That's it.
Tight.
Anyway, listen. I know you guys are going to be taking the road, so to speak, before now and the 25th, and I'm sure that you're going to get this is one thing I would implore the Bahamian people. This is a moment. Okay, you can either show up or you don't show up. But the people who show up, they're not going to be to blame. It's those who don't show up. And not everyone can show up. I understand that. But this not, let's show up. That's all.
And it's great to know that we the people and Ed Fields are going to be there.
I'll be there.
I've already seen that post. And God willing, over the next couple of days, I'll let Renard close this out. And there'll be more huge organizations that you can speak to.
So again, thank you so much. And for those that's listening to us, this is an opportunity for us to come together as a people and make a difference in the course of our country as a whole. So please, our Carmichael, our Grand Bahama, regardless of the organization you're a part of, please get involved, find out how you can help, spread the posts, invite persons, get everybody to be a part of it. Even if you can't attend, we're going to launch a website tomorrow that allows persons from around the world to participate via that website. And so please come out and
it's
support.
time. It's too much. We're mature. This, to go. I'm going to close up by saying this with you guys. We had John refer to our motto. Okay. Well, this is now where we take the one step more to realize that motto. That's all. We're a growing nation, and so now this is the step that we need to take to now realize that a little bit more. And I want to thank you, gentlemen, for coming by, and
Thank you.
I'm sure we'll be hearing a lot more about it.
March on Bahama land.
There you go.
Edward,
Yeah, I was reading an email.
you have any more water for
complaint.
Dr. Davis?
I just gave her one.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So that's one.
You're
that's
behind the
something
times, man.
there.
You're too busy going to the bathroom.
I had to use it.
Up and
What do I
down,
do?
up and down, because that same
I
water.
drank it, exactly.
Well, listen, we just had a wonderful experience with the two guests we had about the march. And what's interesting, just to cap that off, is that I think maybe for the first time in a very, very long time, it's not being seen as something that is, subversive, or it's just a simple thing to voice
feels good.
the citizens' right to be heard. That's all, and in a peaceful manner. It's probably one of the most fundamental tenets of a democracy: people's right to state their views
That's
collectively
right.
or
Yeah.
individually. And having said that, you see how I try to do these things. So having said that, one of the vestiges of of public discourse and freedom of speech, et cetera, are universities. This is where this is the platform that is used most. And we have with us, fortunately today, Dr. Linda Davis, who I know long time, and Ms. Davinia Blair. And I'm going to pull this microphone up here, who I don't know as long time, who is the Vice President of, Institutional Advancement and Alumni Affairs from the University of the Bahamas. It is still, you see, I got to be deliberate because I still want to try that College of the Bahamas. Okay, so the University of the Bahamas, and that's it's a kind of a huge thing. But I want to ask, because a lot of people have put this forward, why is that important? Why is that important to have that?
Well, the University of the Bahamas represents, Ed, thanks so much for having us on the show, first of all, represents a major landmark and achievement for the country. 40 plus years ago, when the father of the nation, Sir Lyndon, opened the College of the Bahamas, he said in 10 years this would transition into the university. Just as in post-independence, it was important to have a college. 40 plus years hence, it is important to transition to the university, which represents the birth of a new institution that should inform national development to the very core and fabric of the nation. And so the university moves into a realm of operation that forces it to examine objectively, forces it to engage in tenets of academic freedom, to which you alluded, and forces the policymakers of the institution to be informed by data and research. The role of the university, therefore, is to play an integral part in that process.
Right, in the community. I've said, is it Dr. Blair?
Davinia Blair.
Davinia.
Doctor, yes.
I just want to, I don't want to throw nothing off. Davinia Blair, that Rogan and I have made it a point to make sure that in the past and over the next several years, as long as we're going to be doing this show, that our pool of resources in terms of expertise is going to be from the College of the Bahamas.
Excellent.
Because
University of the Bahamas.
See, you can correct me on that all damn day, okay? Because I can be messing up on that all day. Because for some reason we have these silos where people occupy these positions of expertise, and it's the same people you go to. Right. But yet, sitting at the University of the Bahamas is this cadre of people who people don't even know about.
Exactly.
But who represent all that is potential for the Bahamas. I mean, can you speak to that?
What we will be doing, and again, I add my thanks to Dr. Davis for being here, we will be publishing very soon profiles on each of our faculty members. This will help you for when you need an expert on tourism, when you need an expert on oil exploration, when you need an expert on ABCD. You can easily go to our faculty profile list, search. It will be searchable. You could put in the key topic that you would like to have an expert on, and you will have 2, 3, 4, 5 faculty members pop up. You'll see the types of research that they have been doing, or the research areas they would like to move into that relate to what you want to talk about, and it will make it a lot easier for you to directly access the expertise that you need.
With this transition to university, does that mean now that your lecturers have to have PhDs? What does that mean? Is there a changeover?
We are absolutely digging into the profile of our faculty, and recruitment and retention efforts are going to very deliberately and intentionally now focus on PhD or terminal degrees. When I say terminal degrees in the area of fine arts, for example, the MFA is considered a terminal degree. So whatever the terminal degree, credential, or certification is, those are the kinds of persons whom we want now at the University of the Bahamas. Absolutely.
But that's with recruitment for those who are currently here now. So what happens with them? They have to.
They got to tool up.
The University of the Bahamas has been very assertive under the College of the Bahamas in terms of providing professional development opportunities for faculty who are prepared to upgrade. Right. The idea absolutely is to put a an aggressive professional development, continue the aggressive professional development opportunity to afford those who are at that point in their career would be willing and prepared to do so.
And there can't be any exception. You know, the University of the Bahamas has to stand
precisely
as the standard, okay, and whatever the criteria is set, that criteria must be met. You can't have wavering from that, right?
Yes.
So to your point then, so is there going to be like a phasing out of those individuals who aren't prepared to upgrade their qualifications? Or
in universities, there are several ways of engaging faculty who may be master teachers versus those who are focused on teaching, research, as well as service. I think there will be a process that we engage that really identifies the strengths of all of the faculty within the ambit of the University of the Bahamas and utilize those skill sets as we are able. We will absolutely continue to be exemplary in terms of our teaching function, but we do need the PhD and terminal degree holders to engage the research and to provide the kind of data that is absolute.
And obviously, there's transitionary periods.
Absolutely.
You know, you don't just say tomorrow you got to do this.
Absolutely.
But let me ask another question, because we tend to be a little iffy here, and that is our xenophobic tendencies. I would think that in order for a university to achieve its fullest, not only for what it offers in terms of the knowledge implanting, right? But for students to have, I've always felt that what you can have as a university, and you can take a correspondence course, not knocking it, and you learn the academics. But it's the experience of outness, of stuff that people bring to the table that we may not have because simply we're here.
Yeah.
And I want you to speak to that, Linda.
There are two I think, caveats as far as that is concerned. And that is one, absolutely we want a faculty profile that goes beyond the Bahamas, a faculty profile that pulls in the best regional minds, that pulls in the best global minds. Absolutely. And so we will be looking for a complement that best adds to the research agenda, that best adds to the academic programming that we know we need within the University of the Bahamas.
I mean, if you have marine biology, for instance, right? Not saying, I'm sure we have some great marine biologists here. I happen to know one or two of them.
Yes.
But we live in a country that is a marine biology haven. In theory.
Precisely.
So we should be attracting like the best.
Yeah, and in fact, the borders, country borders, no longer exist. There is money to be had with respect to research grants that really calls you to pull across borders and to build a research team that really is able to inform that across country borders. The other piece of that too is speaking about the whole internationalization initiative when it comes to the need for us to provide opportunities for students to get out of the country, for students to spend semesters abroad, to do service learning engagements, to do exchange programs where they're able to benefit.
And for students to come in.
Right.
Precisely
Right,
the
and so
point.
that was the point that I wanted to raise. I think the internationalization of our campus, not only through our faculty, but also through our students, is of great importance to us. And I think it has a lot to do with the 1,000 beds. So many persons have been asking, why in the world do we need 1,000 beds? Right now, we can fill half of that with Family Island students or even Nassau students that wish to come and study at the University of the Bahamas. But we need to begin to think about what type of landscape do we want in our classrooms? Right. When the Bahamian student walks into the classroom, what type of conversations we want them engaged in? What levels of tolerance are we going to generate or engender by having persons from all around the world in our classroom? And where else best to go than the Bahamas to learn about solar energy, to learn about tourism, to learn about all sorts of things that we have as a niche here in the Bahamas, or as a specialty that we could have. We want our classroom to represent the same international scope.
What is the strategy to attract international students to UB moving forward?
Well, we are looking to identify, as and Davinia said, niche programs. The president at Charter Day on Thursday spoke about establishing signature programs on different locations. When we look at our Gerace Research Center, for example, in San Salvador, which has been attracting international students for decades now, it will be coming under the University of the Bahamas.
Y'all don't slip. Hey, you don't slip. Are that university straight through?
Oh, straight through. We have earned this. We have earned this in many ways. So the idea is to really leverage programs within the context of the different locations in which they reside. The geology, the archaeology, the oceanography at San Salvador. When we look at the possibilities in Grand Bahama and residences going there, speaking to maritime and entrepreneurial initiatives. When you look here, even in New Providence, with the Small Island Sustainability Complex coming out of the ground, literally as we speak in Oaks Field, the refreshing or the reinitiation of the poultry unit in Gladstone Road. Right. The idea, the possibilities in Eleuthera and Andros is to use this country and the multiple and diverse options and opportunities it provides to attract students.
There are two things that I think
researchers.
There are two things that I think of when I think in terms of a university, a really healthy university, and that is, and one of them I know speaks to you, but I'm sure all, but one specifically, and I'll leave that to last. But it's the issue of community. You sit in a very, very interesting location, okay? And the impact that the university, I'm trying not to slip, the University of the Bahamas can have on that community going north, to me is monumental. It'll, first of all, it should create, and I know this is to your chagrin, greater land values. Yes. First of all, for the people who live there, greater commercial opportunities for people to have restaurants and bistros and places that the college kids can go to and hang out at. So that, to me, is a huge thing. And then it's the issue of sports. That's why I say it speaks to you. And I didn't know, Rogan and I had Dr. Smith on, and he was advising us how they already have an intercollegiate thing going on that I didn't know about, and I'm sure Bahamians would love to travel to support these teams. Yes. So speak to those two things for me, too, if you don't mind.
Well, I think, first of all, I would like to make sure you're aware, because I've heard you say at least 3 or 4 times that there are things that you didn't know, but there is a university zone, and we're looking to move forward with developing this. There's a zone that encompasses around the current campus. The campus is expanding from about 50 acres now to about 450 acres.
Okay, that's a little tiny bit. Yeah.
It's a little tiny bit, but it's bigger than what we used to have. Yeah. Because now we include the area of the stadium as a part of our footprint, the area of the big pond, eco preservation. So we're really looking to establish a zone, a commercial zone around the university to ensure that persons are attracted to that area and remain in that area in a way that creates a useful partnership for the university. So as that develops over time, I think you're going to see a lot more of what you're talking about. But also, too, in many of the classrooms, there are things that are going on right now simply because the faculty and the students want to do it, and not necessarily because we've been on the blowhorn telling everybody about it, but I can imagine that you're going to hear a lot more about the things that are going on in the community. I know of some classes, some faculty members that take their students into the community to do research, to do service, outreach, and I think Dr. Davis's buzzword for it is service learning. Right. And it's becoming more and more of a major priority of many of our classrooms. Many of our faculty members have a focus on it, and we expect to see that grow in leaps and bounds.
We're going to get back to the sports, but hinging on to that, the other thing inverse to the community impact, the impact of the community, is the community's engagement in the campus. Yes. And let's be frank, I'm not going to, I know that lots of headway has been made over the years, but still the university is not one of those places where, to this point, where it's the beacon, right? Where the arts and look, I know the college, the College of Bahamas had. See, I use it in the past now. Had where you go and see theater or recitals, etc. Go and hear lectures. But now in its university status, it should really be that space.
I think we have an obligation, absolutely. I'm familiar with various university models, and the Chancellor, Sir George, reminded us of the importance of the use of the arts as a community gathering function. Turning, for example, the Performing Arts Center into a community theater is not an idea that is so far-fetched.
Right.
Engaging community. I think you're talking about a community even more broadly than the university zone, such that we work with community to make a difference in their lives. The enrichment opportunities that I think we have and are obligated to produce can happen in a variety of ways. Partnering with organizations, which we have done. The focus group, for example, that did a performance on Thursday, that is a part of the Life at Key initiative. It are some of the things that I think will make a difference. Doing summer institutes and enrichment initiatives through summer sessions and engaging the community in that way. Doing engaging service learning opportunities adjacent to the campus that really teach not only the persons in community, but the community in turn conveys and really teaches the participants about which they are trying to learn concepts like social justice, concepts of civic engagement and responsibility.
Okay. Rogan, you had something you wanted to...
Well, I was going to ask, so I know this seems very simplistic, but what changes now with the transition to university? We had Charter Week, we've had a lot of buzz about this whole event. For the individuals out there who are saying, yeah, so big deal, it's a name change. What else changes with this?
Go ahead.
I would say many persons, I don't think they fully understand yet the mechanics of what happened with the university bill. That university bill was very important for us to be able to move forward with our accreditation process. There are certain things about our governance structure that had to be perfected, I would say, or refined through the bill to allow us to move on to our next steps, which is to pursue the SACS accreditation, which is a process that will take us likely several years to complete, but is a very critical process in terms of expanding.
What is that again?
It's the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools.
Okay. All right.
I think it spans from Southern Florida to Washington, I believe, and over to Texas. So these will become our peer institutes or aspirant institutes.
Let me interrupt you just for 1 second. What does that mean to the University of the Bahamas compared to, say, other universities or colleges in the region to be more aligned and associated with the university system in the U.S.?
That is not the only system with which we will have affiliation or
but I mean,
accreditation.
but it means something, though.
Yes, it does. And in fact, in addition to the SACS accreditation, we will be seeking regional accreditation. We are going through our national accreditation currently. There will be an opportunity for us to look at even further afield European accreditation. The idea is to situate ourselves within a system of universities such that we benchmark ourselves against best practices. Best practices are not found just in one place. Best practices are found across a system of universities that are increasingly global. And so the idea is for us to stretch ourselves in such a fashion that we really diversify the possibilities in terms of outcomes and achievements.
And if I were to just add a bit of detail, and I think Dr. Davis probably knows this 10 times better than I do, but as a former student of what used to be the College of the Bahamas, when I transferred, after 2 years of studying at the College of the Bahamas, when I transferred to the American University of Paris, of course, this would have been the first time that university heard about
Right.
the College of the Bahamas, and I wanted all of my credits to transfer. This was in 1998.
Oh, that's so ancient.
So ancient, right?
Yeah.
All but 3 credits transferred.
Okay.
And I need you to understand that at that time, that is amazing. So that meant that
You didn't have to repeat stuff.
58 credits
Right.
transferred. Persons ask today, can someone from the used to be College of the Bahamas, now University of the Bahamas, easily get into other programs and the like? It happens. The office of the provost would have, back in the day, meaning when we were the College of the Bahamas, you would go ahead and you would have articulation agreements established bilaterally to be able to allow this to happen. When we move into this area where we have these regional and global accreditations, that process becomes a lot easier.
And that's a
seamless.
major financial, to acquaint it, advantage, because they're getting an education here at a lower cost to them,
Absolutely.
and now they can go and finish that and get the finishing touches, so to speak. And I'm not trying to say that they can't get that here, but I'm talking about that exposure, that international exposure, etc.
But that transference of credits, that depended on what your major was, because I studied mass communications at COB, and that was in my experience.
Okay.
So.
But I'll tell you now, once we would have been successful with the SACS accreditation process, that experience will be common for all of our students.
Yeah.
Now-
SACS is a major
Just that,
regional
yeah.
organization, accrediting agency. And so once we are accredited
Right.
as an accredited institution under that regional umbrella, and we get the regional accreditation and other accreditations, then we have a stamp of approval.
Exactly.
So most people believe, and I think it's a fact, that when you get to university status, that means that you have a graduate program.
Yeah,
Yes.
I was just about to ask
So,
you about that.
so now I went to St. John's University. That meant that they had a graduate program in theology. They had one program, so it qualifies you. What? We're going to take a break. When we come back, let's talk about some of those programs and where we're going with that. We'll be right back.
Bread, Arawak Homes, Kalik, Woodlawn Gardens.
Hey man, I got to throw the shout out. First of all, I have to throw a shout out to Melanie, the wife of Randolph, who listens to our show all the
Hey, that's
time.
cool.
Yeah, I was out somewhere and Randolph was there, and he said, "Man, my wife listens to the show all the time." I said, "What's her name?" He said, "Melanie." So
love that.
that's my shout out to Melanie. I'm just amazed that I can even remember these things at this stage in my life. Anyway, our sponsors are Heineken, Sunshine Insurance, Arawak Homes, Woodlawn Gardens, Alternative Dispute Resolution Bahamas, Wendy's, Coca-Cola, Roman Meal Bread, Superwash, Bristol Wines and Spirits, Insurance Management, Island Luck, National Fencing and Scottdale Bedding, Subway, KFC, and Bahama Grill, and of course my good friends down there at Summer Palace. I know I'm forgetting someone, but forgive me. I'll call you twice next time. So we have with us this evening, we have Dr. Linda Davis and we have Davinia Blair, who is Linda. What's your position at the college?
Provost.
Provost. What is a provost?
A provost is a senior vice president that has responsibility and oversight. It's the chief operating officer of the institution, second in command to the president. And
You're very excited about it because I know you'd gone off for a while.
yes, I've been,
And there's always a little But
Yes.
anyway, you're very okay. But that's how we describe conflict. Yeah. But we're back in the fold again.
Yes.
And you're very happy.
I am. I'm delighted to
Yeah.
be back. It's such an exciting time to be
Yeah,
back at the
yeah,
institution.
yeah,
I think we have great promise to make a difference in
Yeah.
the country.
Well, I'm sure everyone's glad to have you back as well. So tell us now again, going back to this issue of what a university, of course. You qualify to say that when you have a graduate program. So we've gone from the associate program many years ago. Many people like Rogan, you did the 2 years,
Yes, I did.
right?
Before
And then we went into the 4 year. So we went from a community college to a full-blown 4-year college, and now we're at a graduate status where we have graduate programs. What immediate graduate programs do we have?
I let's take a few steps
Take some
backward.
steps back.
First,
Provo
of all,
Davis.
many persons are not aware, and I think we need to take responsibility. We need to own that because we don't really tell our stories. The under the College of the Bahamas, we, for about 10 years, had been offering graduate programs.
Okay, well, no one knew that.
Some in conjunction with institutions in the U.S.
Like University of Miami and Nova.
Kent State University.
That's
oh
right, Sonia,
yes,
yeah,
Ashford. We offered for at least a decade a number of graduate programs, and then more recently offered 2 College of the Bahamas graduate programs. There was a graduate MBA and an MSc, a Master of Science in Reading and Inclusive Education.
Okay.
So far, not even under the UB, under the College of the Bahamas, we've offered 2 graduate.
I was not. Were you aware of that?
I was.
Okay.
Yes. As we look ahead, we are doing some restructuring within the academic unit, and will be appointing a director of graduate studies very shortly. We will be looking at a feasibility and needs assessment across a number of areas. We know strategically that given our very strong undergraduate programs, that there are natural areas. I mean, we know, for example, regionally as well as within the U.S., they come in and swoop our nurses out. Our nursing program is among the strongest in the region. So we need to be looking at that. That's a good professional area. We've done a good
Well,
job.
why is it that we have so many non-Bahamian nurses?
Because nursing is a field that is sought after globally.
So they
cannot
deplete the supply of one country, and you got to backfill
and
it.
in many instances, the U.S. will recruit within the region and attract them at considerably good salaries abroad. Of course, our whole maritime, marine area is an area that is rich for exploration and creation of programs. The Small Island Sustainability Initiative is an area that we know will ramp into graduate possibilities. I'll absolutely look at the MBA and perhaps look in different areas. There's interest apparently in a master's in economics.
What about
Can I hold you?
Journalism, we have had several, interestingly enough, many persons who have approached us about that possibility, and there have been partners who have wanted to step up with us and look at possibilities. There's a TV station in the making, a radio station in the making. We have a...
We can get a job there?
Oh, there you go.
All right. Listen, I'm going to hold you personally responsible for something. You say you're the provost. I don't. That sounds
Provost.
Provost. But you know, in Nassau that can be changed to provost. Okay, provo.
Yes.
But anyway, no. I'm as a provost.
Yes.
I'm going to hold you personally responsible for something, and I'm going to do this without denigrating the existing scenario. And I'm going to say to you that probably when you look at really advanced countries like the Finland model, et cetera, the number one program, the most difficult program to get into, is the Department of Education.
Yes.
So I'm going to, on national radio, I don't know if it's national actually, it's probably just, this street. I'm going to, and that way that'll save you because it wouldn't be national, Linda. I'm going to put on a challenge to you that the Department of Education must become the number one challenging department at the University of the Bahamas. Yes. It is the future of everything.
Yes.
So that's you accept that challenge?
I agree. Having come from the ranks of teacher education myself, I recognize the importance and the contribution that area needs to be making. And in fact, had a meeting with the dean with responsibility for the area as we looked at the profile of our faculty and how we are going to ramp that out and expand.
And again, it's not denigrating.
No,
it's just
absolutely
taking
not.
it to the next level.
Yes.
When you look at countries where they say it is harder to get into the school of education than it is to get into medical school.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, someone has to teach the doctors.
Yes.
They have to teach everyone.
Yes. And in fact, in a model like Finland, for example, which you noted, the base requirement to teach in a Finnish school is a master's degree.
So,
And so no wonder they find themselves within the ranks of the highest.
And you see, the thing is, we often panic. You started off the show, you and Davinia, talking about how and Rogan asked the question in terms of the qualification level or the educational level, and that's what we have to do, because all you're doing is not excluding anyone. You're just raising everyone up.
Agreed.
And they can all just choose to be a part of that. You know, you will offer, I assume, you will facilitate it.
Yes.
If you so desire to have that. Well, listen, I this has been a wonderful exchange. This is what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that we can see you and Davinia and others over and over again. That when there are not just discussions about the University of the Bahamas, that's all PR.
Yes.
Okay? When we're talking about national subjects,
Yes.
Okay.
national issues, that Bahamians and others,
Yes.
because you're going to have a diverse faculty, who can come from the College of the Bahamas and give knowledge to our listeners so that they are empowered with making decisions that are based on information.
Absolutely. We would look forward to engaging in that way, welcome that opportunity. And as Davinia said, we are in the process of establishing an expert database that will include not only our faculty, but also our professional staff. We think that we have an opportunity really to raise the level of the dialogue across national issues and really get the mindset of our residents beyond the borders and to think more broadly, more globally about issues.
Does the College of the Bahamas...
That's okay.
You know why? Because you ain't giving me a shirt. I don't have no shirt, so I don't know I'm a university, okay? Okay. Does the University of the Bahamas enjoy, at this moment in time, the confidence of the government of the Bahamas and other institutions that there are people they can draw on at the professor level to give them guidance with regard to their specific industries? And I just throw that out because certainly if there's not, that is where you have to go, correct?
If I may, Dr. Davis, I think the greatest demonstration of that confidence is the intimate relationship that the National Development Plan has had with the then College of the Bahamas, now University of the Bahamas. We not only co-chaired the experience or the development of the plan, but our faculty members contributed significant papers with regard to the primers, and even now as we go through some of the conclave portions of discussing what has evolved as the plan, our faculty members again are intimately a part of that process. So I think the National Development Plan is the most important policy position, if you call it that, right now that's happening within the government or within the nation. And the fact that the College of the Bahamas at that time, now University of the Bahamas, is a major part of that is important. But also, too, it happens even on another level. I was mentioning off air how the Department of Social Services came to us today, and there are other government agencies that come directly to us, and even international agencies. We're about to begin an energy conclave along with the IDB in the coming weeks, and so there are a number of agencies that already come to us. But the more we expand this database that we spoke about, and the more we put forward our own position papers, I think we're going to attract even greater attention from our local
it
and
has
international
tremendous
partners.
opportunities for things like survey research, et cetera, et cetera.
And publications.
Yeah,
The university now has a responsibility to ensure that their faculty are publishing.
Right.
Publishing in major journals, expressing views, and informing policy.
Well, ladies, we like to be around some smart people. I get to be around Rogan, so that helps me out on a regular basis. But, what we try to do is to create an environment where people who are driving and listening can just simply, without yelling and angst, hear information.
Yes.
And that's what we're trying to do. And I want to thank you for being a part of that today.
Thank you for having us.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Rogan Smith.
Yeah, man.
All right. And Osprey, thanks you very much for joining us. We'll see you on Thursday when we have Nuko is going to come on and tell us about Alive.
There you go.
Alive. I hope they bring some new phones. CB always begging. Okay, they bring some new phone up in there. Okay. All right, we'll see you.